To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No questions about the agenda or anything that's in it?
I'll second.
Public comment? Admin report, so, Mr. Lee.
I just will go over a few budget adjustments that I've got here. When I did up the year, short a little bit on some salaries. And cafeteria's kind of been short, so we may have to supplement the operation money this year, I'm not sure. This will get through summer anyway. And that's really about all. Got the budgets in and
We talked about it.
yeah, so far I don't have anything approved. They usually don't approve it till the last minute, seems like. I've been sending them back here and there and haven't gotten anything yet this week, so hopefully we're in and we're good.
Any questions? Gary is not here.
He's not here.
Do you have anything?
You know what, I can actually, so he has 5 boys working with him. They're doing a good job. These boys are very, very hardworking boys, and they are just here every day. They get here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Today, Andrew, they went into my office all 4. And they're like, can we miss work because we need to go to I guess you guys have a tournament.
Well, I asked them, can you make it? And they're like, yeah. Okay, so I was like, I'm working with work, and they're like, oh, we haven't asked you.
No, they did, and it's okay. It's okay, and so all 4 of them will be going, but they're good kids. Then we do have one of the custodians who is actually supervising the kids. They've been working hard, and if you get a chance, I mean, I don't think you ever went upstairs and saw the mess that we have there, and then in the band room, which was pretty much a storage, these kids cleaned it up very, very well, and they're doing good.
No sped, no SRO.
For special education, the only thing is I got an email that the application was partially approved. This is the IDEA B application. It was partially approved pending. I need to send them the minutes for, I guess it was last month that it was approved. The minutes and a copy of the agenda, and then it will be approved. They did short us, I believe it was like almost $30,000, compared to last year. But this is everywhere in the state, all the schools, all the districts.
Elementary?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'll be the elementary school principal for the following year, officially July 14th. And I've just been working on hiring. So hiring for secretary, hiring for K-5, 4th grade, reading interventionist, and I'm missing preschool educational assistant. So I have recommendations for most of them, so I'm hoping to get that all fixed up by the end of the week. And then I'm here trying to get just helping with the transference of all the information and doing as much as I can before start date. So that's, yeah.
I have not finished evaluating the data for 24-25 yet for attendance. I wanted to have a full report about that today. I spent more time the last few weeks working on a new handbook, or fixing our handbook, updating our cell phone policy, working on some of those things. I've moved offices from one room to the next and organized a bunch of stuff. I hope to have it complete by the end of the week, and I'll just send it out via email, just kind of what I find. I think it's going to confirm what we already know. We improved our attendance. But some more details to go with that statement. I will have that for us, I think, by the end of the week. Summer school's going on. We have about 10 middle school students here that come every day from 9 to 1. They're working with Coach Alex on reading. There's about 10 of them. They've had really good attendance, and I see them every day. They come Monday through Thursday, and they'll finish up at the end of next week. And we have about 22 high school students that were identified as needing credit recovery this summer. Only about 17 have shown up and taken that on. We had some that, for whatever, if they had other things planned for the summer, they opted not to attend credit recovery, or if they had jobs, or I think we had one parent told us no, that their child was not going to do it. Okay. But about 17 have been here, and they've finished most of their work. There's still some working. I know that we had 2 young men who were not eligible to graduate in May, but they have recovered everything that they need, and they're good to go. We're just kind of waiting to verify all their grades and stuff. When Ms. Dunn gets back, we have about 2 weeks of class time left for kids who are still working. I went over at the end of last week, and there wasn't a whole lot left here still working. There's a few working on some English and some history with ink, and I think 1 or 2 still working on Edgenuity stuff with Mr. Molina. And so it's gone pretty well, and I think the kids have really made use of their time and gotten some stuff taken care of, which is good. We do have a master schedule for secondary completed at this time, as long as nobody does anything to mess up our carefully laid plan. It takes 1 person, and that thing is no longer valid. And we will start when Ms. Dunn comes back to campus in July. We will start putting schedules together. But it looks pretty good. We're going to try some new things this year, and some things that we have some flexibility with that really small freshman class going to allow us to do some things a little bit different. For example, we're going to be able to offer the 8th graders next year health as 8th graders, which will count towards their high school graduation stuff, but to knock that out of the way this fall or spring in their 8th grade year, instead of having to have it during their freshman year of high school. So that's one positive thing. I think we're going to have an opportunity to do credit recovery during the school day for a period if students need that. And I think the other thing is we'll be able to offer the 8th graders to offset their semester of health, semester of reading support with Miss Lapey. So I think those are all some really good positive things that we see coming from having such a small incoming freshman class. Right now we have currently 1 vacancy at the secondary level for middle school social studies teacher. Coach Scott has resigned and taken a job in Roswell. And so we're working on getting that filled or a transition plan in place and that kind of thing, but don't have anything official yet. And the other information, other than being here and kind of just working on stuff in the building and taking care of stuff, preparing for next year, I did go to the school law conference. It was an interesting and enjoyable experience, and I plan to attend MCEL in July, and so that's kind of what's been going on in the secondary admin so far this summer. Dan, for any questions?
What about our middle school coach?
About it?
Mr. Scott has left, and do we already have somebody to take up that?
I'll allow that gentleman to address any coaching questions you might have.
So we'll have, with him leaving, that puts up 4 coaching vacancies, and we're kind of trying to get ahead of who's going to fill in that role. We have staff coming in that are qualified to coach, so that might be one option. Have this been official, we'll post it, and we'll see what candidates we get, and fill it.
And I did post it this afternoon as soon as we had official information, and it did indicate on there that coaching is highly sought after and tied to that position.
Any other questions? Moving on. Approval for the minutes from the May 19th meeting and the investment skills from Trevor's notes. Approval of Trevor's notes.
I approve those notes.
By Chris.
I will second those.
All in favor, say aye. New business budget adjustments. Any more questions from Mr. Chairman?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, all second by Chris. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. Next item is the school board meeting schedule,
I think B,
Right. or B? Is that
yes.
right? Oh, it's B, there's the different, which, anyone or? The big one is different. B is,
Okay, I have approval of the Hamel Transportation contract.
okay, we can do that one.
Okay.
It's C on one and B on the other.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right, it's all good.
Contract.
Yes.
Okay. So we just need approval of the 2025-2026 contract for the Hamel Transportation. I believe we had allocated 296,000.
What did they?
Yes.
It's like a flow through really, so I take out for, insurance that we have to pay on those buses and, bus inspections is really the only money I pull back. If we get a feeder route, I'll just pay for it out of operational this year, because you can't predict whether it's gonna be there or not. We like to spend out all the money, otherwise you have to take half of it and send it back to Ted, and then we try to spend it, at the tail end of the year. I've got like, I think I sent in $2,600 back to them this year, because I had a feeder route and then somebody didn't didn't complete that, so.
Did
It had excess money.
the cost change with the 4-day week?
Ms. Reyes thinks that they have already allocated for the year and they're not gonna mess with it.
The only
We shall
thing,
see.
the only thing is that it is for the 4-day school. At the end of the year, whatever we don't use, because they base that mileage. If we don't use it, then we have to send it back, like Jolene said.
What did the animal say about the 4-day? Were they?
Well, it will hurt them.
So they adjusted their price though to.
Not necessarily their price, basically what the way they charge us is mileage,
Oh,
depending on the miles. So day 4 or day 5, if they don't do it, then we don't pay them.
and their current price is what?
It's just 5 buses.
We have 4 and then the special ed. My goodness, I don't.
We don't have copies of minutes, right?
Oh.
It's on the
I was
email.
like, I didn't.
It's just fair, I think.
I think it's like 280 something.
287, 287 and $6. That's $6 is.
It adds up.
And some change.
It's even.
It's even.
Even 6.
Did you go out to Buffalo Valley?
Yes.
And they got shorted
I thought that was
last
their
year, of
feeder
course,
route.
18,000. And then they took a big
No,
hit off
the
of
feeder,
Roswell.
that's where the routes always ended. They didn't go any farther than Buffalo Valley. That one
They
feeder,
just go down to that house in the background.
yeah.
Correct.
The feeder route was all the way out to,
Caprock.
Capital.
no, well,
Very
it
Oh,
close.
was
just Val.
King Camp, wasn't it?
But then he wanted to do the online school, so we lost him.
Any questions? You see it?
I'll make a motion to approve. the
No, I
transportation contract.
knew it was around that. I just couldn't remember if it was 180 or 280.
Motion to approve it.
Moved by Chris,
I'll second it.
second by Trevor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Carries. Next item is the schedule.
Okay, so if you look at the schedule, you have it in your folder. I am open to make any changes, and then there is a calendar here that you can kind of look at the calendar and see. I know that the first week, so basically what I did, the regular board meetings are scheduled normally like on the 3rd Monday of each month. And then, so that's what I did. I just looked at the 3rd Monday. I know that July 21st is, I believe, county fair. And I totally understand. We can have it the week before. I believe the 14th, all of us will be here. We should be here. The
That's the first
15th,
day back to contractor.
yes, and then the 15th, that's when we go to Albuquerque. But, I mean, if you want to do it a week before, I prefer having it the week before than the week after, because if we wait, the first day of school, it will be on the 28th. And I think that would be very difficult, because I know we have activities
Well,
planned.
we have 2 orientations and you have to have a parent meeting picture. Or you're not gonna do that early.
Or for, the athletics. I'd like to do it,
Do you wanna do it 5:30, 6:30, 7:30 and just do it all in one night?
But I am open, and if you can't do the 21st, then I am open. Whatever you guys think.
It'd be better with July 14th.
July 14th? Okay, are you guys okay?
That's fine.
Or any-
We probably should have a 14th, because we will probably both go.
That's what I thought.
I'll be gone.
And you'll be gone on the
States.
both? Unless you guys want to do, if y'all want to do July the 7th,
I say the 14th is fine.
the 14th?
As long as it's 3 of us.
Okay. And then what I will do, I mean, if you want to look at the others and if there's any other conflicts. And then what I'll do is I will type another one, but you can still approve it. The June, it should be the 15th. Yes, the last board meeting for the, it's June 15th instead of the 16th.
And then March.
And March 23rd, I'm sorry, this was a typo, not my typo, secretary typo. March 23rd, but it's my fault, I should have looked at it. February's fine.
March spring break, spring break.
No, spring break is the week before. Okay, February, January 26th, that's good. December the 15th, November 17th. September. Okay, September, September is fine, the 15th. Yeah. So it's just those 3 that I need to fix.
That was a good until not, I guess.
What about September? When's the fair?
Oh, I think that
It's in
Right
September
after
29th.
the Eastern fair is late, and it's like the last week, the last
Okay, so we
Monday.
should be good.
And, yeah, and the state fair is way before that.
September
Well, the
8th through
Albuquerque
12th.
one is like, 8th that week, right after Labor Day.
Unless, you'd rather move it to the first week, the first Monday of the month. It's up to you, we don't.
Oh, we'd have to change our board policy.
Yeah,
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
Just moving that one to the 14th. and that's it.
We've had to move it.
okay, so then July the 14th. Okay, then what I'll do is I will type it and then give you a clean copy next month.
We tentatively, this is right. We're just gonna move it.
Correct. Okay, well, if you want to approve it, and then I'll email you the,
I will make the motion to approve.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Teacher report schedule.
Okay, so, the next item, so we have here, and all the teachers have been given a copy, and actually, and I also provided you a copy of the calendar, but the teacher's work copy, and it's, day by day, month by month, starting July the 28th. So basically, the staff will be working with the 4 days. They will be working from 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. That's a total of 8.5 hours. So the administrators will be, this is something that the teachers need to make sure that they are here, and the administrators, they need to make sure that they monitor that and have meetings, make sure that the time is being utilized wisely. So I am requesting for approval. If you look at the August, okay, so the first week, and it says here, like, okay, look at August the 4th, it says instructional day, and then it tells them here if it's an instructional day and when there's no school, and then also if there's school like on a Friday. And then one Friday a month, the teachers need to be here. And then that's when we will be having professional development. And it's only going to be from 7:30 to 1:30, so it's not the full day. But again, the time will be used wisely.
Any questions?
So on October 17th, they do have school that day?
Okay, so if you look on October 17th, it says here, parent-teacher conferences.
Oh,
So-
okay,
So basically, the teachers will be,
okay.
it says here, instructional day, but it's actually parent-teacher conferences. So basically, what we do have, we have it on the, if you look at the 16th, we have, it's a regular instructional day for the kids and the teachers. So the teachers will be here from 7:30 to 4:30. Then conferences we will have conferences that afternoon from 4:30 to 7:30. That's 3 hours. Then the next day, there's no school for the kids. And again, the parents don't have this calendar. The parents will only have this one. But I think it would be a good idea if I send them something like this also, because that way they have it and, they know when it's an instructional day and when it's a school day, and hopefully they'll keep it. But conferences, October the 17th from 7:30 in the morning to 12:30. So that's the 8 hours. But no kids on the 17th.
Okay.
And notice that, okay, in October, we don't have a parent-teacher, but we don't have a professional development because the conferences actually came towards professional development. So I'm requesting approval to be able to implement this calendar for the teachers. All staff, actually.
Any more questions? So motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Cell phone policy.
Okay, Cody will be presenting this one here, but I gave you a copy, and basically this one, so we do have SB 11, and it's known as the anti-distraction policy in school. So all of the school districts will need to have a cell phone policy. No, we already adopted ours, so I think, we are ahead of the game. The only thing that we have to refine it, and we need to make sure that it's implemented because we do have to send them, we have to send a copy of Ed, we have to post it in it has to be posted on the website. So this one right here, it's basically the guidelines, and then Cody will talk about.
I just made a little handout that makes it a little bit easier to see why, like kind of breaks it down, what we're changing, why we're changing it. Why are we changing it? Because so we can align with Senate Bill 160, which does prohibit the student cell phone use during instructional time unless for approved educational or medical purposes. The reason this became a state law was to reduce distractions, support academic success, protect student privacy, and promote responsible technology use. What our policy says is that from 7:55 in the morning to 3:55, there is no student use of personal electronic devices. This would apply to cell phones, smartwatches, earbuds and headphones, gaming devices, and Bluetooth-enabled tech. I looked at what the state law, what their recommendations came out, and compared that and had it and worked it into what we have. Looked at some other districts and how they have theirs worded. What this means is that if this is not allowed during phones or electronics are not allowed during class time, passing periods, recess or meals, locker rooms, and restrooms. It's going to be a little bit of a change from what we currently have because we have allowed phones in the passing periods, the bathrooms, lunchtime, and recess. So that is the major difference. What we're saying is that it has to be turned off, out of sight, in the backpack, locker, or purse. If we see it out, we will follow the consequences for violations. I do anticipate that at that point it will be messy for a little bit. I think we're going to have to be okay. And if we're not okay with having some bad people and suspensions and those kind of things, we probably need to reword how we want to do this. Because I think from everything I've read, that's the downside to a policy like this is there's going to be a period of adjustment and it's going to be, if you do it like you're supposed to do it, it's going to be messy. The backside, because the question that a lot of the stuff that I've read in the articles and the stuff is that parents, well, how do I get a hold of my kid? Well, good news for us is that we have phones in the school, in the office. In the case of emergency, you will call the school directly. Kids should be texting or calling their parents throughout the day to leave, to ask to go home, to bring them something, I'm sick, come get me. We will follow the checkout procedures. If they're sick, they need to go to the nurse. The nurse will determine if they're sick enough to go home. And in that case, she will call them to make parent pickup. Also a part of this SB 160 is that we have to annually provide students instruction on digital citizenship to include the effects of screen time, social media safety, and responsible technology use. And I have some ideas of how we'll incorporate that into what we're already doing and make sure we have that available for our students to be in compliance. The exemptions that I read, the only way around this is if you're a student that's written into your IEP that you have to have an electronic device as part of your IEP, or it's part of the Final Four. The other exemption is if a student has documented medical issues, like if they wear a CGM or some kind of like something to manage a health condition, they can have their phone or their watch for that. But we would have to have documentation from their medical provider that it's indeed a medical necessity, not just a convenience. We would make this available to everybody in full policy form. Just like every other policy, we will have to have signatures from students and parents at the start of the year. And I anticipate that Coach and I will get a million phone calls.
Do you want to add on that exemption where it says with appropriate accommodations and doctor recommendations?
I think in the actual cell phone policy that we will give out, this is just our talking points
Okay.
I think in the actual, it actually says in the draft version that you would have to have medical documentation to justify. And the other, I think in there it also talks about how we're not going to go with a whole teacher saying, well, they need it for academic, we're going to use it for learning, because we're done with that. We have one-to-one devices, lots of one-to-one devices. We're done using phones for learning in the classroom because it's very easy. And we have some teachers who are very kind and everything's a learning experience with their cell phone. So.
We just need to be very consistent though, because what happens is they'll say, well, teacher A allows me to use my phone, but you don't. So it's nobody.
And I've updated the wording in our teacher handbook to reflect the following this procedure if it's adopted. So, and that there'll be, teachers also will be held accountable in the same level as far as students if they're not enforcing the school board.
And this, actually goes all the way down to the elementary level because we do have some kids that they do bring their phones, 4th and 5th graders. They don't mess with it.
Well, and the way I read it, the law, it's not just phones, it's now watches, it's if they bring their switch, if they bring, yeah, you're like, we can, but all of that falls under the same thing, if it's distracting, if it's causing a distraction, like this stuff.
We're gonna have to maybe write in something that if you are in esports, it needs to go straight to Mr. Sanchez's classroom or something like that, or.
Oh, for like if they were bringing a
They
device.
practice at lunch.
Yeah, I would have to stay with Mr. Sanchez, with their coach. I mean, similarly, I mean, if it's something that you guys are leaving on an away trip, it can go to their coach.
So would that transfer into if they like were to go on a trip or?
Well, and and that's something we would have to have a conversation with about school. If they leave at 1:30 to go play a basketball game in Eunice, all those kids that are in that bus, are they getting on their phones, and are they allowed to be on their phones the whole bus ride? I don't know.
They do.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how that works, and I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things, and I mean, the kids here at school won't know, because they won't have their phone out, or they're not supposed to have their phone out.
So if it reads in their backpack.
Well, most of it's
I'm talking for.
little kid, well, I think you guys have to
Is
kind of.
this a policy that's gonna be the whole district? It's only.
It is, well,
Yes.
the phone policy, I think, is the
That's the whole
whole
district.
district, but how you guys monitor that, I think, is
Well, I just wanted to be clear for parents too, like that needs to be.
silent or off, or, I don't know.
Because the district policy is going off of the law, and the law is,
Correct.
there's not.
It's a K-12 law.
So I'm working on it, I'm taking in all this, and then we'll work on elementary edition, but based on the feedback here too.
In my opinion, but again, that's just my opinion, when the kids are on the bus,
On the way to school, way home
on the
from
way
school.
to school, the way, even not on a trip to.
Yeah.
I think they should be allowed to use it because, I mean, that would.
Well, they're
help
not technically in the instructional day, and I think the biggest thing is like here at school, in the classroom, leaving the class to go to the bathroom to text somebody or to, do all the side things they do with their phones. I think that's what the intent of this law is to maintain a more academic environment here at school. I do know and I anticipate that we will see a lot of pushback and for a little bit of time, probably lunchtime, brunch time, those times, we're gonna see some of that, and it's gonna take some getting everybody on the same page.
Mhm.
And we're probably gonna have to make an example out of some people, and it may be hurtful and uncomfortable, but I mean, it is.
So this applies to.
Yes,
And like I said, I've updated our secondary teacher handbook to include that we are the models. We have to model responsible technology use. If it's instructional time, you're up teaching, not handling your personal affairs.
How does that work with like teachers are using the class dojo and how? Like, I know it's a little bit more tricky too.
I think there's a big difference between updating your dojo and stuff and scrolling Facebook while your kids are doing something.
Yeah.
Any other?
So this is our policy.
That's our draft.
It's our draft.
That if we like it or we change it, and however we change it, that would become our policy.
Do you have a clean copy, sir? You can sign.
I don't have a clean copy, I just have the draft copy. But if we sign one, or if we want to make changes to one,
How far are we off, other than the time constraint, because instructional day now is from,
because we've never, well, the things that are different from what we currently have is we have allowed it in all day during the day, well, as long as you're not in a classroom. And we've said in the classroom, if the teacher says that they're using it for educational purposes, you can have it for educational purposes. It's been real gray and real murky in a lot of places and inconsistent, because we have some people, in Dingstrom, they can have it in their pocket, but you're never gonna see it. Whereas, two classrooms, either direction occurs and it's a free-for-all.
okay. So this is just.
It doesn't say anything in this student handbook policy. In our teacher handbook, it does say, and I didn't bring a teacher handbook because I didn't know that we were gonna talk about that, but I can tell you what it says in the teacher. No.
So are kids allowed to have backpacks now in the school because?
They can bring it to their locker. They can't carry it through the hallways, which I mean, we could go back to that. The hard part is it creates a cluster in some of our tighter classrooms if there's 14 kids and 14 backpacks.
But if we allow the backpacks, then it creates just so many.
Well, it becomes another issue of what else do they got in the backpack and other places to put things. But I think a lot of them would, put it in their locker, put it in their purse, put it in, 90% of all of our secondary kids carry their computer case with them. Stick it in your computer case. And I think a lot of them did that anyways. That was kind of what they were carrying all their stuff in. Oh, it may not be on my drive with me.
Yeah, we just need to be strict about it and consistent.
I'll see what the section of the staff handbook says, just so for clarification. The section from the staff handbook says that on cell phones and electronic device use, the district's cell phone and electronic device policy is non-negotiable and must be strictly enforced as approved by the Board of Education. There are no academic exemptions allowing student use of cell phones during instructional time. Staff are expected to model professional behavior by limiting their own use of electronic devices during instruction. Failure to consistently enforce this policy may result in disciplinary action for both students and staff. It is essential that all staff uphold this standard to maintain a focused and respectful learning environment.
That's for the teacher?
That's in the teacher handbook.
Okay. Does it say anything about look away communication in case there's a lockdown?
There's another little section here. It says students may bring cell phones to school, however, it is governed by the cell phone policy adopted by the district. Use is not permitted during class time for any reason. Any student using a phone during class will have it confiscated in accordance with district policy. All staff are expected to consistently enforce this rule. Knowingly allowing a student to use cell phones in violation of the school policy may result in disciplinary action for the employee, including verbal, written reprimands, citations on evaluations, or required improvement plan. Staff use of personal cell phones during instructional time is strongly discouraged. Doing so sets a precedent for students and undermines the enforcement of school-wide policies. While it is understood that that personal matters may occasionally arise, staff should make every effort to limit personal phone use during instructional day. And it does talk about using the classroom telephones that are in all the classrooms.
But if it's emergency, that would be personal use.
That would be
So that would be-
emergency.
Cause I just remember we don't have communication for scenarios where we are in lockdown, so our cell phones were the only
So that
one
would
for
be.
teachers, am I correct?
Well, and we
Oh,
did
for
have the
teachers,
app.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
that was thinking
And-
more for teachers, not
Oh, okay.
students, no.
No, definitely
no.
for teachers, they would have to use
Yeah, and
it.
teachers would,
It says personal.
So
yeah.
we do have an application, it's called Navigate
360.
360, which we definitely need to refine.
Are we gonna fix that this
We
year?
have to,
Okay.
yeah, we have to.
That was kind of like that life alert kind of thing, you can just like one touch, you know, send.
Yeah, well, we had that one, we had, what was the other one? Panic button.
Panic.
Navigate has had a lot of issues though.
A lot of
Like, is there
conferences.
other?
So
are
it's,
there
it
other
wasn't
places?
just us then, okay,
No,
that makes me
we
feel
have-
better.
I know,
No.
we were a hot mess.
Ours was not set up all year, and then because I was at a prior school, and then I got switched over, I could never get synced into my home school, and I'm worried that I'm gonna have issues again here, because that's like my third location.
It might, okay.
So maybe we
And
could
then
just,
just-
Self-alert,
I
middle
honestly
school,
don't
we
think
get
it's
the,
effective,
what's
and
going
some
on?
people don't have service.
and right, depending on your carrier, you may not have great
Like, Miss
service.
Carlisle does not get service at all on her phone.
They have a lot of kinks that they're working through, and I know last year, because we started the school year so early, they weren't prepared for us to be back, so then we didn't use it successfully last year, and I think it was a navigate problem that.
We used it a couple of times, but then not everybody would get the.
Well, but then I was never set up in it correctly, so I would only get half the alerts.
Yeah, I only got, I think it was only Alexis High School, not even CG.
Are there alternative programs for that?
And we can look into it. So there, what was the other one, panic button?
I think that one was free too.
The rave panic button or whatever.
The only bad thing is all of our information.
So the only thing that I guess that I see on this needs to be changed is our instructional day, because we're now 4 days,
Uh-huh,
so 3:55 or?
That's what time the kids will get out.
yes,
They get out at 3:55?
yes.
7:55 to 3:55. Teachers, we don't get to leave.
Teachers leave at 4:30.
do sports now, it's all right.
Yeah, the kids don't have to be here at 7:30.
Okay, 7:55.
So there's about 3 tomorrow.
Staff is here. 7:30. All right, no other questions.
Have fun with that one.
Motion to approve.
Thanks.
You're running on it. That's-
I think we probably soft launch it on Facebook, or not on Facebook, but on the school website for a little bit and see if we start
All those in favor, say
July
aye.
1.
That's all right.
That's July 1.
Yes, what?
Teasers.
Fortunately, this is just our deal.
Well, it's a state law, so we don't have a choice, it's state law.
So,
Like July 1.
Student handbook.
Okay, I got another handout for that.
And they have a copy of the
They
handbook.
had a copy of the handbook, but I made a handout so you could quickly
Oh.
decide that.
So he's the new radius for the cover letter.
No, it's,
Yes.
there's no cover letter, but I hey now. But I did make a summary of the major changes, just because if we go through this line by line, it could take a while. It grew from the last handbook to this handbook, but I did some research before we started, because I knew I had a copy that stayed on my desk all last year, and every time we would encounter something, I would make a note on that copy, and I would work on stuff. But then I also looked at some other ones, and I did compare and see a lot of other things that other schools like us in our region have in their student handbooks, and I thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea why they must have it in there for a reason. So if we'll start here, the general additions. I did add a parent guardian support statement. I think I stole that idea from Tatum's handbook, but at the bottom it just says, this is a handbook. We would offer interpretation for anybody who felt like they needed interpretation of the handbook, because we do only distribute our handbook in English. But if we had a parent who asked for a translation of it, I guess we would be willing to provide that. Chat.
Will do it.
There you go. Well, and it says on there any assistance. So I added that statement. I added a purpose statement to the introduction page as to why we have a handbook. I think I stole that from Capitan's handbook. And that it enforces that administrative discretion would apply in any unanticipated situations, because apparently they must have dealt with that if they have that in their handbook. And I think we can imagine somebody would say, well, that's not in your handbook. So administrative discretion applies if it's not explicitly in our handbook. There was a really short, simple thing about FERPA, but I did add the full text, because every other one I looked at has FERPA in the full text version in their handbooks. I did add a page add some part to the About Hagerman Schools page, added our official colors, added what our mascots are, our emblem. One of them, I think it might have been Tatum too, said that we were part of the NNPED on there. I want to add the school song, but I can't find the lyrics. If you have the lyrics, I'll add them in there. Awesome, that would be great. Because I've seen it somewhere, and everywhere I looked to find it, I could not find it. So awesome. Well, if you can send it to me, I will put the school song in there. I'm not sure anybody besides Tori knows how to sing the school song, but hey.
For yelling for the Bobcats, they always, we had to do like a whole thing about that.
Yeah, for the Bobcats.
Yeah.
They always win.
We can bring that back.
You Bobcats, but right to living. There's one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I added, there's a section on parent communication and stakeholder engagement. Kind of clarify the expectations for communication and a chain of command approach, just because a lot of the people we deal with don't understand that. And we would like them to be more informed on that. Talked a little bit about the student assistance team, because that wasn't something that was already in our handbook. Talked a little bit about 504 plans, because that wasn't in our handbook. The attendance policy probably sees the most changes. And added some language in there about the New Mexico House Bill 236 that explains the Attendance for Success Act, and that we're in compliance with that. Change from numbers of days to number of hours, since that's how we're tracking our school year now. Added two new definitions that I saw in another one that I thought was important: the difference between chronic absenteeism and excessive absenteeism. And the good news is I don't think we had anybody in either of those categories this year. So we made success. I did take out the part of middle school grade deduction. That never really worked for us this year, and I don't think it was effective. So I think we should take that out. Talked a bit in here, because we don't have anything in our current one, about how Synergy generates letters at 3, 5, 7, and 10 absences, and they go out weekly, and our secretaries mail those for us. And that kind of triggers Coach and I to start in on our attendance stuff there with those kids. kind of redefined our check-in, check-out procedures that students must sign in and out of the office, and they can't leave without parent or guardian permission, and there has to be documentation for that. Clarified and cleaned up our language in there about absences. We went and kind of, after first semester, we had some, and after we started dealing with kids who were losing credit, we went and we made the designation of verified absences, meaning that we've made contact with a parent or somebody to understand where that child was that day. Doesn't necessarily excuse the absence, but it does give us documentation that we know where they were. They weren't just not at school. I think we took out the planned absences because that still falls into the verified excused absence documentation. Much to our teachers' request was that we revise our attendance incentive structure. It worked really well and got us where we needed to be, but I think we have to clean it up a little bit. And so the top tier would be no absences, no tardies, no missing work. That would be the true no zero hero would be the only 100 that you would get on a final. Excellent attendance would be somebody who had 1 to 4 absences for the semester, 0 to 4 tardies, and no missing work. And we're going to add it back to the teachers to manage the no missing work stuff. So Coach and I will take care of the absence tardy side of things. When they get it back to them, they will have to say, oh, they had 4 or 5 missing assignments. They no longer qualify for that incentive in my class. And we also think that they should carry a 90% semester average in the class to get the incentive, because I think we had some people using this as an insurance policy. And that didn't set well with all of our teachers, that they could come and do very minimal work, but be here every day and still skate by, I guess. They would apply per individual class and not school-wide. Students would still need to maintain academic and behavioral eligibility, because we did not include students who had ISS or suspensions as part of that automatically let them out of the attendance incentive structure. And we can't apply this to dual credit or AP courses because that's not part of that structure. So those are the big changes from the attendance policy. Any questions on that, or we just want to keep on going?
So there's 3 options on the final.
You could get 3 options. You can either true no zero, well, there's 3. No zero heroes, you get your 100. 90, if you meet the attendance requirements, or you just take your final. Those are your options.
Okay.
And that took a lot of the feedback, I think, that we got from people who felt like they were not, it was incentivizing maybe the wrong thing. So.
Well, maybe I'm confused on the 3rd option.
Well, there's not a 3rd option. Those are just the eligibility notes. To get one of those, you would have to have at least a 90% or better in your class grade already to get exempt from a final. Otherwise, you need to take the final if you have like an 80 or a 70. Because we had students last year who were skating by with like a 58, 60 right there, but they had missed no days of school, so automatically 100% for your final, which was not the intention of what we were trying to accomplish. They got here at school every day, which was great, but it didn't improve their academic performance.
So the only way you're going to get 100 is if you have 90.
90,
average.
Yeah, and above average.
That's basically.
Yeah. And so, and we do have we have a handful that will still obtain that. Emmanuel Sanchez comes to mind.
Is that just for the 100 or is that for the 90 as well?
I think that's for the 90. Well, I'm open to consideration. Do you think we should take it?
I think it needs to be lower. I mean, yeah, or maybe 75 and up. Like, I don't see too much of an incentive for a kid that's middle of the road, that knows no matter how hard they try, the only grade they're going to get is a 75, but they come in and they do their work, they're diligent, they don't miss class, they're never tardy. I say give that kid a 90 at least.
So 90% are average for the no zero, and then 75 or 80.
Yeah, I think if you have a 90, like if you have a 90% semester average, really, there's no point in taking your final. You're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not improving it that much.
You're not improving that much, so I'm fine with that for the 100. But if you have, no absences, no tardies, no missing work, and your grade is a 75 semester average, then I would say that you deserve a 90. You deserve at least that 20% bump in that A bump in your grade.
I can live with that. I'm good with any of it, but whatever you think is going to make more sense and speak to more of our kids. That's
I think putting that.
I think that it incentivizes more of them.
Yeah, I would say that's putting it out of reach.
Well, it kind of takes. It's going to take the sting off of that automatic 100 away from those that counted on that. So.
Yes.
Those bubble kids.
a 90 is still pretty good for some of those guys.
I agree.
So
So I can make that change when we go to that. The other key revisions, we did add a part in there on the out-of-district students this last year, and I think we utilized it during the school year, but it was not officially on our book, was that if you're coming from out of district, all students who live out of district would complete an out-of-district request form every year. And we did send them out after the fact, but we will start it
It has to be done at the
at the
beginning.
beginning this year. But we didn't have it in our handbook, that was part of the steps that you had to do if you were out of district. I did clarify the arrival and departure section, explaining where like middle school students where you're supposed to wait and be during the morning, and high school students where they're supposed to be. Talked about inclement weather, and that may need some clarification because in there it says we use the Remind app. We don't use the Remind app at the secondary level. We do use the Bobcat app, but it was unclear in there how to sign up for that, and I was going to include that language in there but I needed Daniel, and Daniel was on vacation, so I didn't know how we wanted to word that, but I will clean that section up to reflect so people can get that information from the app if that's what they choose to do.
So if we have everybody's phone number, it's really simple to just send them a text.
But this is for the parents, like for parents, like
For parents.
it'll go out through the Thrill Share app or whatever. So, but I think they have to be signed up and have their stuff up to date, don't they?
As long as they have their phone number. Daniel, can you help us with this? Are you there?
Does it use their registration?
It's usually with the registrations and the phone number, it's in Synergy, and it's already, if their phone number is in Synergy, then we automatically have their number.
Okay. Then the everybody's next favorite one is the dress code section. Oh, sorry, Daniel.
No, sorry, I was trying to get my audio working because I was trying to get my headset figured out. But the way that works is that parents will submit their phone numbers whenever registration goes out for the students. Once we get their phone numbers, we input them into Synergy. They will automatically get transferred over to Thrillshare, and they're already in the system. So it makes it easy for parents to pretty much just be able to receive those notifications when we send out the messages through the phone.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel.
What?
Does it come from Synergy or we have to get it?
I think whatever's put into Synergy, Thrillshare, and community. Yeah.
Synergy?
So as long as their stuff is correct, they should get the communication.
Correct.
Okay. Then on to the dress code. It's pretty much the same dress code, haven't changed. It did add a standard in there that our dress code does still apply when you're traveling for a sports team or a school organization. Because we ran into a middle school pajama incident last year during basketball season. Shorts and skirts must reach mid-thigh. Fingertips must touch the hem of the fabric of their whatever they're wearing on the bottom half of their body. That PE and athletic clothing is not considered appropriate for the classroom, or may not be considered appropriate for the classroom, especially if it's like their volleyball shorts. You can wear basketball shorts in classroom. Those are usually okay. Volleyball shorts are a whole other animal. Pants must be worn at the waist above the hip bones. No exposed skin between the hem of their shirt and the top of their pants when either their arms are raised overhead or when they are seated. No hats or headwear allowed in the hallways or the lunchroom or the classrooms. That's added to what we already have. And that clothing and accessories should not distract from the educational environment. And that in there, we clarified that if you get referred for a dress code, you go to the office. But everything else will pretty much stay the same for dress code.
And again, with this is consistency.
Right.
Everybody has to be consistent.
Talked about the suspension section and reiterating there that students are responsible for communicating with their teachers to get their work while they're suspended. The office will send out an email to teachers, hey, so-and-so is going to be gone for the next however many days. And teachers sometimes will initiate the conversation, but that's also the student needs to initiate some conversation on their end to get whatever work that they need. Added some because we didn't have anything in there that really talked about cafeteria and meals in our handbook. But reiterated that our school is a closed campus during lunchtime. All students have to go to the cafeteria, that they can't stay in the buildings during lunchtime. And they must remain in designated post-lunch areas. High school usually goes to the patio or commons area if it's really cold or windy or whatever. And then in middle school, get the tennis courts or the patio or the hallway, and they have to be supervised. it does talk in there in the actual text, I think, about if there's a meeting or an activity during the lunch period, that is allowable to miss, to not have to go to the cafeteria for those. And then talked about not going to, like, and it's mostly high school students wouldn't go to their cars and be in the parking lot during lunchtime. In the academic section, added AI guidelines, because that's the world we live in, and reinforcing the ethical and responsible use of AI tools. That's also addressed at pretty good length in the teacher handbook, as what their expectation is to help students use those tools in a responsible way. Updated our eligible student scholastic eligibility, just to clarify in some of the NMAA rules that we follow based on semester grades, and they can regain it at the 9 weeks mark, or they can't lose their eligibility at the 9 weeks mark. That if they do summer school credit recovery, that could help them restore their fall eligibility. That kind of clarifies now with the cumulative GPA provision, how that works, and that if 8th graders move up to a varsity sport, that begins their eligibility clock, because that was not in our previous handbook. And I think that would be something for some of our 8th graders to consider as they make that decision, whether they want to move to a varsity sport or not. Talked about credit recovery section and how that works for us and how we offer credit recovery. Student classification and course load, we didn't have in there anywhere what made you a freshman versus a sophomore versus junior or senior. And we want to clarify that just so students know how many credits they have to be in one of those designations. That they have to take at least 7 classes a day unless they're junior or senior and they have an exemption and they have like a work-based study or some kind of other alternative plan going on for their education. The progress reports and report card section is revised. I took out the reference to open house because sometimes we do that and sometimes we don't, but added details about how you would go about scheduling a parent-teacher conference and what that parent-teacher conference looks like. Encouraging the use of parent view for student parents to monitor their students' progress, and that encouraging parents to schedule meetings with teachers during their planning periods or before and after school. And now with our little bit different workday schedule, we will have some more time for that before and after school. Added a section about dance rules because we had nothing in our handbook about dances, but our kids seem to really like those sometimes, especially our middle school kids. But they do have that. We did add a chaperone requirement that they have to have chaperones in times, 11 for high school and 10 for middle school, or is that, is that for prom? I couldn't remember, but
No, 11.
I thought 11 was pretty good. And then what the rules are for re-entry if you leave the dance and that kind of stuff, and if there is an approval process if you want to bring a non-student guest with you. And then added a behavior contract as a discipline consequence because it wasn't on our previous list. But those are pretty much the summary of changes unless there's something else. And happy to answer any questions that you might have in what we've got so far. Well, in the actual text of the handbook, it says all those things. This is just the highlights. Yeah, our handbook went from like 20-something pages to like almost 50 pages, but. Right. Well, it's like, the more I was like, do we need this? And I was like, it wouldn't be in somebody else's handbook if there wasn't a need for this kind of stuff. So I'm like.
So something that I've noticed on the table of contents.
The table of contents is not updated. That one I'll have to, we wanted to get it approved and make sure there wasn't any other changes before I make a pick. In the actual copy that we present, there'll be a letter in the front from Coach A-Rod and I, because we did that last year before we make copies for students. The table of contents will match, and I'll have to go back and do that. But I wanted to make sure we didn't make any major changes before because it's a little bit of a process to make the table of contents and make sure all the pages make sense. And it'll change because that table of contents is reference to our old book, not necessarily this book.
Okay.
So yes, sorry, that's a good catch. Yes, sir.
Does it say in the absences that if you are gone for a competition or sports competition, that is a good.
Yes, it's there. That is still in the student handbook. And I did get a little bit of, I had Deke read it, just give me her feedback on it, and she did give me a couple things that she saw. the policy, official, there talks about official absences, school sponsors support extracurricular activities and school trips. Athletics, those are official absences, and pre-approved educational activities outside the school environment. And then talk about unexcused and then verified. And then I did other verified absences do count towards your attendance totals for the semester. Because that was the thing, well, we're excused, so there's really no such thing as an excused absence.
Okay, so that's where I was gonna try to look back. I feel like there is. I feel like our school is taking that right away from parents. I know we have the issue and why we've had to do those in place because there was those parents that were just letting the kids miss school because they wanted to.
Well, then they would say they're sick or they're
Right.
doctors, so.
And I mean, I was in there a couple times this year because of Annalise, and that was my issue is that there was valid reasons why I had my daughter out, and I know other schools because when I was getting my letters, I reached out, and I just felt like that was taking away from parent right and making it a school priority, or I don't know how to word this, like it was just taking away from me to say like I called in, I walked in, I signed her out. I mean,
We allowed
literally, it
excuse.
was 4 appointments and those valid reasons, but not everybody was like that. So I mean, it's
Well, we didn't count the doctor things, if they brought back they went to the doctor,
Uh-huh.
they went to the orthodontist, they went to like somewhere, they had documentation, or we had students who, were hospitalized or whatever. If they had that didn't count towards their 4.
right.
So-
Well, and that's the thing too. Like there was an instance where I was in the hospital and Annalise missed. So it was like one of those things where I'm like, me as a parent, a responsible parent, if I called in or came to the school to check out my daughter, like it shouldn't matter what the reason was. I'm here to get her. I'm the parent. It's my reason.
And I think part of her frustration was that she was you got what the letters, automatic letters, right?
Yeah,
And
but
I
I
think,
didn't know they're like automatic on
Yeah.
it because they did have y'all signature.
Well, they
So I'm
print them
like,
off, but I
obviously-
signed them before they go out, just so you're not just getting like a straight, like,
Well,
where does this letter
yeah,
come from?
and it's just almost like a catch-22 situation where, Annalise did have the documentation, and then we even allow a couple days within our incentive to like, okay, you get 1 day, like no questions asked. It's hard to match that and then the automated stuff, and I think that's kind of part of her frustration.
And there
is-
was a couple of them too, where Miss Bada actually did call me after Harry called the office, so there's like that disconnect too, that even though I had called, because it got really bad where it honestly, there was some days where I'm like, why am I calling? Because I know, because
Well, I
Annalise
think-
is like, Mom, they counted me absent today, I'm in red, and I'm like, I called, and she's like, well, they counted me absent, I'm like,
Right.
let me go by the school
And
again.
I think that's just a matter of training the liaison, properly and make sure, because usually when the parents call, then the secretaries they have to enter the excuse or the reason why, the child is absent. And then, so we just need to make sure that the liaison knows exactly, oh, this parent, we already have a notification.
Right, and that, it took a little bit to get that process refined, and it's still, it's a work in progress for that side of things.
Well, and that's just like the wording saying, even if you call in, doesn't determine
It doesn't guarantee, because we do have people who are gonna abuse it. For every good parent that we have, like you, we have 5 that are gonna, my kid, like, and they will really, they'll manipulate it to be to their benefit. So, I mean, I think we have to use a common sense approach, and that's what we did when we would have the conversations with those kids at 3, 5, 7, 10.
Like,
Was it,
an actual pattern.
yeah, and then, I mean, and Rosa was great about it. We didn't really have that similar problem here at the middle school, but Rosa has a file, and, oh, look, on this day they called, they have their doctor's notes. So when we could match stuff up, then we would come down, okay, you really only missed for 3 days.
Yeah, and that was
that was fine, and we moved on from that, but it took time to figure out all that. And with it being a new policy, I don't think it was perfect, and it's probably, if we change this a little bit more, we're gonna have some growing pains and hiccups with it till we get to where we're seeing what we want to see from it. And I understand the frustration, like, it's my kid, I'm gonna do what I want. And we did have that conversation with a couple of parents that said, well, you're wrong, that they felt like it was wrong for us to say that their kid
They
couldn't
needed a
miss.
mental health day or.
Yeah, they needed, or whatever, or we're, we had really important things. That's fabulous. They're still not gonna qualify for that incentive because that changed, because it wouldn't be, that's the incentive, yeah. So, and I mean, I remember it was during state track, I had a middle school student who came and said, do I have any more days? And I said, no, you don't. They chose not to go to watch state track because they wanted that incentive for not to fight. And so it did help our kids make some better decisions too about some stuff.
And as a result, I mean, when we started, we had 19% chronic absenteeism, and it went down to 10. So it went down significantly. And we wanted to go lower because I'm viewing it as one of our priorities. We still have to work at the elementary level, and that's something that that would be your priority. Because, at the elementary, we still had a lot of parents walking in at 9 o'clock in the morning. And Tori, you know that. It's not that you're doing it, but you saw that.
I'm walking ahead.
For the second time. Coming back from PE.
So I'm gonna change the topic a little bit on this handbook. So say we got a senior that's got all the credits and like they're just here for the rest of the day. Like they just need like a couple credits and then they're just here. Can they like get a job?
They can, and we have a provision that
It's in here.
if you are here, you're supposed to have 7 hours a day, 7 classes every day. Unless you are in that kids, like if they only need senior English and government econ, but they're good with everything else, we'll get a job. And I think they still have to be here for 4 periods so they can get but we did have,
This year we only had Eduardo.
but prior, on the second semester, our teacher girls had one after lunch. But they went 1st through 4th, and after lunch, they could check out and go get a job. And that's kind of what Cap Hoppus did when he was a senior.
Somebody else was asking.
So if you need anybody to go and help you, and
Well, I
that'd be
was
great.
telling Rowdy, I was like, what do you got in the afternoon? Well, I really gotta just take dinks and I don't know whatever. It's like, oh, we could use you.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll see when I do the presentation for the budget, that's one of the priorities. We want to be able to have kids go out to the for workforce.
See, it was, it's,
Tara prioritizes that.
Where's that at?
Usually,
It's not on there. I have it on
It's
my.
not in the city.
just because, for a lot of reasons. It's- For what part? There is, there isn't, well, and there, I think it would be under academics, and I don't have the actual.
I have a book on that.
Or if you look above on page 29, above the where it says standardized competencies, it says a classification, it says unless a special work permit is approved by the administration. It's the last line. All students must take 7 courses per semester unless a special work permit is approved by the administration. So it is in there. 29. It's like there's some boxes on it for like testing and credits, and it's in the blue, the second section of blue on there. Oh, we
This
did.
would only be for our seniors.
A junior could probably do it because we've had juniors be ahead of the game and they would have time, like maybe they might not get the full 4 hours, they could get maybe 2 hours a day, I think is what Eduardo was able to do. He was able to work the last 2 hours of the day.
So I can get Luke on
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke's ahead too,
Yes.
so
the Luke's a good.
Yes.
there you go.
You might be able to take
But
the
he's
whole
gonna play
day.
basketball, so he's gotta do so many hours in the day for that.
So he'll come back.
Comes back.
Well, no.
As long as he knows, the most now has
You have to be
classes.
enrolled in 51%
Of
of
the day.
the day, and you have to attend those classes. Well, that's a
Yeah,
class he's getting ready.
It's a class, you will be
So as
his
long as he's
teacher.
here for practice and you don't make the coach mad, it sounds good.
Oh, yeah, he'll go, yeah, you could use him and then send him back. I mean, he can
He's gonna
stop.
love this.
I don't know if I want to send it back.
You might be in the middle of something important.
Okay.
Chris Billy, can you take somebody too?
You don't want a flunky?
I got enough problems with the ones I got.
I'm telling Bob.
Give them away.
Give them one.
I'm telling David.
Unfortunately, it's not David. Somebody a little closer to home.
I'm telling your dad.
Somebody please tell him something.
President Moss, is there anything that the kids could do at the refinery? I mean, do they have kids?
No.
No.
There's too many safety.
The Ocean Violation Center.
Alan needs somebody.
Ellen, yeah.
I'll need somebody to watch him to make sure they.
That's what Chris.
His handler.
It'd be perfect time, we don't show up till like 1.
That was always perfect.
Actually, I don't see it anymore. Any other questions?
Seems like this thing's getting thicker every year.
I'm sorry. Well, when I printed it off to like look at it, I printed 2 sheets per page, but that looked really little, and I felt like anybody who was gonna read it well couldn't get a whole lot of it, because it was even making my eyes hurt after a little bit. But I will fix the 75 for tier 2, or for no zeros top tier, and then
Or even,
the excellent attendance,
even maybe a 70, maybe a C average.
a C average.
Some of those kids work hard for a C.
Yeah.
As long as they're passing.
Yeah.
Well, I think C, I think, D, you're just kind of skating by, you're doing whatever.
Yeah.
D will get you a diploma if you maintain it, but if you're working hard and you're earning that C or.
Yeah.
or
And
at
I
least-
will say that did make a difference. We had a couple of seniors at attendance instead of made a difference for them. It did allow them to be where they need to be to graduate. And it also improved their attendance from what we'd seen for them previous years. What?
I can't remember if that fast one, but it's a, you get a
Like, so
90,
what
More
we're
questions?
you get a
okay,
70, you get a
70,
90.
Need a motion.
It would be about an 87, somewhere around there.
I'll make the motion. Moved by Trevor,
I'll second.
second by Chris. All those in favor say aye.
Thanks, I wish this out close in July 1, 2.
Sale, stuff.
Okay, so you have, in your packet, you have a flow chart. And this is basically, it's a request for approval of the property disposition. So if you look at it's this one right here. Okay, so it says here, a district or charter school needs approval of property disposition. So the sale of trade or personal property less than $5,000, and I think this is where we fall under. Then we need approval from the OSA, which is the Office of the State Auditor. So the school board or governing council must pass a resolution explaining why it is, why is it that we are disposing of the items. And then, of course, we have to send this resolution, with a letter explaining why we need to do this. And as I was mentioning to you, so these kiddos have been working very, very hard. They already cleaned up, a couple of storage places, and we have a lot. The gym over here at the middle school, it is full of tables, chairs, old TVs. So basically, it's just stuff that we can't use anymore. And I don't think we need to throw it away. I think that it could be, our trash could be somebody else's treasure. And I just don't see myself throwing that stuff away when we can make $1 or $2. Believe me, somebody will probably buy that. So what we need to do, if you look, okay, the next page is basically just the guidance here and, the policy for getting rid of stuff. And then, okay, the next one is the letter. It's the letter that will go out, and it's this one right here. So this is the letter that will go to the Office of the State Auditor. It says notice of intent to dispose the surplus property. Okay, and it just says in accordance with the applicable state requirements, please find the enclosed a copy of the resolution passed. And the resolution is on, the next page.
by the Hagerman Municipal School District Governing Board on June 16, 2025, and we passed this, authorizing the disposition of specific items. The resolution explains the items identified have been determined to be obsolete, no longer functional, or really just not necessary for the educational mission of the district. As such, the board has approved their removal through appropriate and lawful means. So this letter will be sent, pending the approval. So we have to submit the letter 30 days prior to the intended date of the sale. So basically, in compliance with the statutory requirements, the district intends to dispose of the items by having a public sale and allowing the public to make bids. I don't think we need to have an auction because then we have to pay more. I think if people can come in and make us an offer, I think no offer is going to be rejected, except for the welders. Because, we do have some really good welders there. So if we do decide to pass this, this needs to be signed by President Moss, and the other one is the resolution. I went ahead and put here resolution number 1 because with the building of the new school, we will be getting everything new. And again, I was talking to the architects, and they said, well, you guys can just, when everything gets demolished, everything can stay there. I don't see that. Again, if we can make $1 or $2 by selling these chairs, why not? And so more likely we will be having a lot of them. Right now, the gym is packed with some of the stuff that we need to sell. So we need to make sure that we have the first sale, and then, so then this one here is the resolution. And it just says, Hagerman Municipal School District has identified certain items of equipment, furniture, and/or materials that are no longer functional, obsolete, or no longer necessary for the operation of the school. And pursuant to applicable laws and regulations, the governing board is authorized to dispose of such surplus property in a manner that it is the best interest of the district. And then, now therefore to be resolved that the governing board of the Hagerman Municipal School District meeting in regular session on June 16th, again, if we decide to pass this, declares the items listed in the attached inventory as surplus and authorizes the superintendent to proceed with the disposition through a public sale. And then that public sale shall be held on July 11th and 12th from 7 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. at the school grounds located at 406 North Cambridge. And the notice of the sale shall be published in the local newspaper and the school's website at least 14 days prior to the sale. Adopted and approved this Monday, June 16, 2025 by the Hagerman Governing Board of Education. And if you approve this, I just need a signature. Mr. Box.
Is this like a sale or something?
Yes.
Show them about.
Well, we could either take it outside and maybe close the street and, that.
I was just thinking if they're waxing those doors, carrying that stuff out of there.
So right now there's tarps. It's on tarps.
No, I'm saying the hallways, and they're gonna have to pull out to wax those hallways, because then if they carry that stuff out there, it's trash.
So we were thinking about just leaving it there and
You left that.
Trash security, you gotta go up.
You're having 2 days of it or just one?
it's 2 days.
So unless everything's gone the first day.
Unless everything's done the first day, again, for a lot of people, it could be something that it's worth it.
Price it
We could
already?
have.
No, we haven't priced it, so people can just say, I'll give you $1 for this. It's really just a lot of change.
But you're not going to the highest bidder, you're just going, I'll give you that.
Whatever, I'll give you this.
So
and then-
we can do a garage sale, because
Yeah,
when you said bids, I'm thinking like,
No, not like,
hey,
I'll give
here's
you
an
$10
envelope,
for
here's $5
this.
for this, here's an envelope, here's.
No,
then
we don't wanna do an
So are
auction.
you gonna do by lots? Like, there's 25 of these blue chairs and you get all 25 of them for $5 a piece? Or
So, what we
or I
have
want 10 of
here,
them?
this is towards the back. We have the inventory disposal log, and then there's a total, just a lot of tables, and there's a total of 27 tables. There's student tables 3. There's like 189 student chairs. 276 student chairs, cabinets, 15, electronic items, 24.
Do you take
TVs.
everything?
You what?
Are we gonna have rules for this? Like, you're gonna have to, like, if you want one TV, you gotta take all 27 TVs for that price, like.
No, well, I mean, if they only want one, if they want, you know, whatever.
When you
they
buy
give
some
us.
of these auctions, you're usually buying lots of crap.
Now, we can also price stuff, you know, chairs $1.
I was saying like.
I was gonna say starting price.
Yeah, like $5 for chairs or.
If you're not bidding on it, it doesn't really matter. I was thinking like a piece of paper, you write your name, you know.
Yeah, like,
Silent auction.
and maybe every hour, so many things close or whatever.
Yeah.
But then those people have to keep coming back.
If you really want your stuff, you come.
You know, the way I see it, the things that we have in there, it's stuff that really needs to go. And it's like,
And you said it's not possibly be used in.
not in the school setting, not anymore.
I think if anything that's come down out of the attic that somebody wanted to scavenge, they probably already did. For to go in another location here in school.
And then in what, 2 years, 3 years, it's gonna be obsolete anyways because.
Wow, correct, with new furniture.
So that's why on the resolution, I have resolution number 1, because I really think that we probably need to do, once we start with the new school, we probably have to have more.
I don't think do a silent auction, because what if somebody comes from out of town and they can only come one day and they can't come back the second day, so then they can't get their item.
Did we
Yeah,
get their money?
Yeah, but if you do a silent auction, it's the highest bidder, so
Did we get their money?
But they could leave their thing and say, hey, for 100, I'm gonna
then
give
they
you.
might change their mind and not get it.
You know, I think we can put prices. I think we can put prices.
Yeah, like the
I think you're
garden
more likely to get rid of it if you put a price and let them just take it.
Here's
Make
the
them impulse buy.
$1 section, here's the $5 section.
Make them impulse buy. If they go home and think about it, they might say, their wife might tell them, no, there's junk, you don't need that.
You have to quit bringing stuff home.
If you did it that way, you could just do it in one day.
Possible. We don't have to do 2 days. I'm
Well,
gonna need help.
Yeah, let's hope that they
I'm
come.
gonna need help.
Might, but are you gonna do it on a, what days? Is it
It's a Friday and a Saturday.
I think a Saturday would be good, just because you're gonna be people that don't work on.
The yard
Fridays.
sellers.
Yeah, send
People
it
who are
over
yard
Saturday,
sellers.
it'd be done.
So, you know, with your approval, I do have to submit it as soon as possible because it has to be done 30 days before, so this is the perfect time.
Like the equipment too, like we couldn't give it, or not give it, but like give an option to like the welder kids, like, so it was like a few welders and stuff.
So there's a few welders, so the welders we do have in probably, they're worth about $1,200. They're good.
Oh,
Those are good
and where are we
items.
using?
Because we
Because
upgraded
we
it.
got some new ones, remember? But they're good.
I just figured like there's those kids that are, that's what.
But
they
it would be,
want
but it would
to
be
do, like,
an opportunity for a kid to come buy them one less
Yeah,
expensive than if they were trying to go buy themselves.
right.
But these are
They're-
electric, not
They're
diesel,
electric, they're
so,
like $240.
so they'd have to have like special electricity. It's not like just take it to your
Oh,
house
okay,
and
they're
plug it
just
in the
not
wall.
more, and like the bolts. Bolts that much, but like saw like little bandsaw and like stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if it was like a normal,
Somebody could equip a really cool home shop if they were so inclined.
right?
You know, the TVs, they still work, but they're like,
I don't even know, they're ginormous, and they're,
They're the ones that used to
So
use
they're
the-
Yeah, the
like
ones that were
industrial
suspended in the
size
ceiling.
stuff, not like something.
They were the TVs that got installed when y'all were in school.
they hung from the ceiling to make people real nervous.
Hey, you were with me, that's right. The ones that glued in?
We didn't have
No.
There's some of those
There's
too.
still some of those too, but
Those
the,
two, yeah.
We did have that one TV, we would roll on the stage, it was like a 15.
Yeah.
The only one that was.
uh-huh.
That's in the,
No, the ones that
that's
were
in
on
the
the,
gym now.
on the
Is
wall
it?
mounts.
Is
Yeah.
that projector TV?
No, it's a big one.
The
It's,
big-
Huge.
It's in the boiler room.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we need to bring that thing over here too.
Yeah,
"We'll
that's.
bring it over here."
Yeah.
Why, it's
I
not
think
there.
it is fine, 30 years.
Yeah. They probably should be trash.
It needs to be trash.
Probably should plug it.
Did y'all see, I don't know if y'all have to see
I'm pretty sure
that.
people were dumpster diving that thing
I
this race,
probably-
because I came one day, like, after school in the evening, and it was like overflowing, and the next morning I came to school and I was like, this
I
thing
thought
is
that
considerably.
it.
No, I'm pretty sure people were dumpster diving.
It was slow that there's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people were dumpster diving.
Shoot.
I think Aaron was picking out some things and,
There's an interest.
Yeah.
not for him, but putting them
And
in.
set the bait,
Yeah.
chum the
Well,
water.
that's what they're getting rid of.
Any other questions?
No, I'm pretty sure. people were dumpster diving.
I'll make a motion.
So this one was overflowing, and then like you came back and it's like not even level. I asked the boys, we're gonna look up some of those lawyers.
Let's look at that stuff. All right, the budget.
Okay, let's see. I want to take the time to thank Miss Jolene because when it comes to budget, she works very, very hard. So thank you, Jolene. Let's give her a big round of applause. And she's probably like, I don't need an applause. I need some time off. No, but thank you. She does.
Cheryl, big talk with her, she came.
Yeah, she was here. Okay, so this is just a short presentation and some of the budget categories here, we can make this a little bit bigger there. Okay, instructional.
Show your whole slide to show on the screen? You want your whole slide instead of your little window?
There's the little thing at the bottom, yeah, we have that plus minus sign.
I got you.
Sorry, just line from the beginning. There you go.
Okay. Ah. There. You know what? We need one of those clickers. Uh-huh. Okay, so instructional and school model, the classroom instructions, instructional support, school leadership, student services, and attendance and health. I'm not going to read all of those. Can we put a stop to it instead of it changing?
I don't think it's gonna change. It just went.
Okay. So basically, it's just to provide a clear, understandable picture of current resources and expenses so that we can plan and prepare for the school year, provide a clear picture of the budget process for student success, and then, provide a clear picture of our priorities, and then the implementation plan, and ensure sustainability. Okay. So we have the overview. Okay, we have the mission statement. I don't think I need to go over that. We have the budget calendar and the budget funding sources, projections, and then the budget development priorities and assumptions, and then the budget overview. Okay, on this one here, this one has it's the incorrect date, but it will be 3/24/25. Basically, it was when they were recommended, and everything comes out. Okay, there. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. So for the last two meetings, and I think since March, budget recommendations for the community, and we had them on the agenda, and nobody really mentioned anything. Okay, information regarding the dossier and the micro-credentials, because sometimes we have teachers that they're working on the, micro-credentials, and then they finish let's say in November. By then, some of them can move from a level, let's say from a level 1 to a level 2, and it's a $10,000 difference. By then, the budget has already been done. So sometimes it's really difficult. So all the teachers, we need to make sure that we do that. And then, can we stop that?
No, there's a short move.
Okay, so then the budget review, district-wide. And then we did this, of course, starting 6/4, 6/16. And then we had recommendations from the community, and then review of the site budget. Let's see. Okay, it's not.
So it's trying to slide or slide. Double tap.
Okay, then submit it was on the 22nd when Jolene submitted it. Okay, so it was submitted to PED on 5/22. Then it's also advertised in the newspaper, and that was on 6/8, and then last Sunday, 6/15. And then tomorrow there will be a presentation to the staff on 6/17, and then present it to the community. So we also have some of the staff members that are part of the, their parents as well. And then hopefully the budget can be formally adopted, and then we will be sending that form off. Okay. So with the budget, some of the sources: operational, capital improvements, and instructional materials, transportation, federal fundings, and then outside funding sources. So, and I will send you a copy of this, and this one tells you, for example, like operation, what it pays for, capital, what it pays for, capital improvement, like construction, technology, furniture. I don't think we need any furniture right now. Then the instructional materials pays for textbooks and, supplements or materials, transportation, school buses, driver staff to and from the routes, and then federal funding. We have all the titles, special education, bilingual, ELL services, and then all of the different titles. And then outside funding sources, then, for activities, specific programs, projects. So we have like donors that, like, for example, the PY Foundation, etc. Okay, so the revenue estimate. This one here, this is for, different years. This one here, it went up a little bit, and I believe it's 468. And it's actually the same amount of students, but then the unit value, it went up a little bit here. And then, so this is what, okay, so the federal funding. So we have from Title I, we will be getting $285,000. And the plan is to be able to hire, and I know Ms. Braceda, she has been interviewing for a reading interventionist. So hopefully we'll be able to get a reading interventionist. The one that we had, she left us. So we need to post that, or the position's already posted, but we need to hire for that position. Title II, we will be getting $24,750. Title IV, it's $24,000, not $124,000. I told you today I'm like not half asleep. I haven't slept. Migrant, it's the one I went ahead and did I filled out the application. That's the one that I mentioned to you a couple of months ago that we have really, the amount has cut significantly, and that's only $3,807. I did the application. It got approved, so I'm hoping that they'll be able to send us more funding. And then Perkins, we have $10,792. And I believe there's an additional $4,000, but I could not find that and Parker insists that we're getting $15,000, and I couldn't find the other $4,000, but I only have the, $10,792. But then we do have from Next Gen, it's $87,000. Transportation, $296,000. Food services, $343,000, but then we also have the food universal. So basically, all of the kids get to eat for free, and then so we get an allotment from the federal, and then we get it from the state, so that we can cover the rest of it. But it's still, not enough. Athletics, $36,723. And then pre-K, we have $402,800. Community schools, $120,000. So we were shortened on community schools. This past year, we got $150. Now they're only giving us $120. And then SB 9, this is last year's, because we really didn't do a lot of the construction, and then last year's and this year, so it's a total of $791. But we'll probably end up using some of this money for the new school as well, if needed. So here's some of the priorities. Optimize the program development and student achievement within the available resources, building capacity and staffing levels, and then intentionally created instructional priorities, of course, equity support, and differentiated funding for subpopulations, social and emotional learning supports, program evaluation and effectiveness, and then, of course, the state budget and long-term funding for public education, student population growth or decline, salary schedule migration, and it's actually, we got 4 this year. And then ERB employee contributions impacted on the 25 budget, transportation cost decline, and instructional materials. So some of the goals that we have, and some of them remain the same because we still need to make sure that we don't definitely want to drop those goals. So the one of the district-wide is, to be able to improve the student attendance rates by 20%. So we still need to make sure. Last, I believe we had 10%. I went ahead and put a little bit more, 20% by the end of 25-26 school year. So we definitely need to continue monitoring and reporting this. We will be having an attendance liaison at the secondary, but this liaison will be working with all 3 buildings. So this person will be tracking the attendance with the assistant of the principals as well and the secretary. So we want to continue having communication with the parents to emphasize the importance of regular attendance and engagement of programs, develop and deploy engagement programs such as the attendance incentives. Each principal will have to develop an attendance plan. And so this is where, they need to make sure that they have programs where they can incentivize the students. And then, be able to have awareness campaigns for students and parents, personalized support plans for those students who are chronically absent. Community and parental involvement strengthens partnerships with the community, organizations, and enhance communication with parents to emphasize the importance of regular attendance. Each school will create a PAC. And so that's something that each principal, they will have a PAC, parent, kind of like, what do you call it, organization committee, but where they get to talk to the parents and be able to have parental input as to what is it. Instead of just us working in silos, we will have the parents and, okay, what do you want us to do? So that would be something that each principal will create, and they will have teachers and parents. The graduation rate. So we want to increase the high school graduation. Of course, that was one of the priorities for last year. I think we did very well, and we want to continue with their graduation. Are we ever going to get to 100%? Probably not, because basically it doesn't mean that even if you have all the kids that graduate, it doesn't mean that sometimes they go by cohort, like 4 years. And so they might have a student who dropped out as a sophomore. So that student will count with that cohort. We will have to continue doing personalized learning plans for the students based on their academic and career counseling services to help the students set and achieve graduation and career readiness goals. So again, and I skip this one here, but then also we want to ensure that 100% of the graduates are CTE and career ready by the end of 25-26. And that will be every year. All of these kids have to be, because not all of the kids go to college. We want them to go to college, but we want them to be able to take CTE courses. And then college and career readiness, the program expansion. So expand careers and technical education programs, ensuring that they align with the local labor markets. This is where you come in. If you have, jobs for our kids, I think that would be great, because what we want to do is establish partnerships with the local businesses and some of the industries to create internships, opportunities, job shadowing, and mentorship programs to enhance career readiness. And then this year we will be partnering with PBIZ, establish partnerships with PBIZ, and then of course Lake Arthur Schools to bring more CTE programs to create more opportunities, job shadowing, and mentorship programs to enhance career readiness for our students. The discipline, this year we will be starting with year 2 of capturing kids' hearts. So we will continue. We had a training, it was at the beginning of the month or at the end of May. So we had training for that. And then Mrs. Braceda will be attending a training for her so she could be also ready with this and be able to make sure that, we continue with the implementation of capturing kids' hearts. At the middle school, we will continue having the social emotional program. What is it called, Cody?
The Botman LST is from the University of Colorado Boulder.
So we will continue having that. And so, the goal is to enhance academic performance and then the social and emotional development of middle school students by implementing comprehensive support systems by the end of this year. So we will continue, and I believe this is the 3rd year with the program. We will continue to introduce after-school tutoring, peer mentoring, and enrichment programs to support academic growth in core subjects. It might be a little bit harder now to do the after-school program because the kids will be here a little bit later, but I'm sure it can be done from 4 to 5. And then again with the SEL, and continue to implement the Capturing Kids Heart. And then we want to continue with parental and community engagement, foster strong homeschool connections through parent workshops. And that's where the principals will be having their pack. That way they can show the parents. And how can they help them at home? How can they help kids at home? And then with literacy, we will continue to have the goal. It's to be able to improve and, 15% increase in literacy and numeracy proficiency with the elementary school students by the end of the school year. And I think this is something that can be done. We will continue with the early intervention programs, the letters program, but this year we will also include the middle school, special ed, and
I think bilingual.
And bilingual. So letters is actually moving to the middle school now. And then we want to continue having professional development for teachers, provide ongoing professional development opportunities. This year we had the opportunity to be able to implement through CSI funds, since the high school was actually a school needs of improvement, and we got funding for that. We still have a little bit of money, so we will be able to provide opportunities for the new teachers, as well as this year we have the principals. This year we will have Mrs. Braceda, and also with the assistance of the PY Foundation. They haven't awarded us this year, but they will. I already had a meeting with them, so it looks like they will be funding us. It was just, I think it was a great program. So A-Rod and Cody, both of y'all did the program. And
by your side?
By
It
your
was
side.
fantastic. And for our teachers, for some of our new teachers, I saw a really big difference from the beginning of the year to where they were at the end of the year as far as what they needed, how they need to grow professionally. It was worth the money we spent on that.
So definitely we want to continue that so that we can provide the PD for the teachers. And then we want to continue having family literacy and numeracy night, especially at the elementary and the middle school. Okay. And these are just a few of the numbers. So we have, it's 7,382,000. And then we had, this one is incorrect. This is our, we have a little bit over our cash balance, about, it's 2.4. So we have a really good cash balance.
Yeah, Scott, Crystal, and her.
And that's it, short and sweet. And again, thank you, Jolene, because Jolene does all the heavy lifting. I stand for questions. She does.
Is this a action item?
No. Oh, no, yes. Yes, you do. So it was a presentation and there's a form that we need to submit to PED. I still have to do this for the staff tomorrow at the, some of the staff that will be here tomorrow at the elementary, like the summer school staff.
Any questions? More questions?
Sure.
Those are straightforward.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Budget's approved.
I was like, okay, one day, it was in the fall when she was here and I had this run.
It's your turn to go first.
I'm just gonna
I
wait
love
here.
these
So she
birds.
sat with Maddie for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
So we'll get the secretary.
I'm gonna get rid of, hey, that's not cool.
I understand that.
That'll be like a vacation.
All right, item 7.
Okay, the last item here is, I don't know if you guys are willing to have a board session. So we could do more advanced planning, you know, with the board and you'd be able to provide us with your goals. It would be the board and then the administrators. I mean, this, maybe I was thinking July 14th, since we changed and we could have it from 5 to 6. Unless you guys are good with our priorities, then we can move forward, but I'm pretty sure that you have priorities as well.
Again, I'll be out of town for those dates.
And we can just do it right before the board meeting, like maybe from 5 to 6, you know, just kind of like a work session.
Yeah, Jennifer will be gone, but
Unless you want to select a different day or just move forward. I mean, if you guys are okay with us continuing with the priorities.
anybody have comments? I mean, I like the priorities. I still think we need to get together.
Yes,
Why don't we do it before the August board meeting?
if the August.
Oh, we've already started.
Do we need a little more time than that?
Yeah, I mean,
We can, it's usually, I would say, you know, sometimes it could be 3 hours. But it would be with the board and then the administrators. So let's see, the August,
What day are you leaving, Jennifer?
I'll be gone the 10th to the 22nd.
Okay.
we could do the 18th. I mean, I know that if all of you guys have work
The 18th of August?
of August.
Or the 15th, because it's a Friday, we work that day.
You know what? I think that's a very good idea. We can have it the 15th. It's a,
yeah, we'd have to have it in the afternoon,
These guys work.
mhm.
I mean,
Can we do like maybe 3 o'clock on
On Friday, yeah.
a Friday? You guys good with that?
I'll be here whenever you tell me to be.
Do we have a game on the
We don't have
15th?
anything first activity, well, there might be a football scrimmage, but if he wants to host that, he can host it.
Okay, so maybe the 15th then. I mean, we do have professional development, but the teachers will leave at 1:30. So we are available after 2, but if you guys have, we'll work with your schedule.
yeah, I won't know till that week. Probably that day. Trevor seconds that.
We can shoot for that. Shoot for August 15th.
The 15th?
Yeah.
Perfect.
At what time?
Do you want to do, we could either do 2 or 3? It's up to you.
I'm gonna be there.
And if you have available in the morning, you guys will be doing
We
PD
have
for your
PD.
staff.
Let's do 2.
10?
2.
2.
I just said 10, I was like, we just said morning, it's not good.
2.
Clearly hearing is a deficit I have.
Superintendent report.
Okay, and it'll be short. So the first item is just an update on the new school project and so, you know, I'm really happy to say last week, 2 weeks ago, so I actually attended a meeting in Albuquerque and we just completed the programming phase and thank you to all of you that helped us with this. So we are now preparing to present the design options that have been developed by the design committee. And so they're gonna have a meeting on Wednesday at 4:00, where, they will review, I believe they have 3 different designs already for
This one,
this Wednesday. Mhm.
here in this room?
It'll be in this room. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, and so the next meeting is scheduled for this Wednesday at 4:00. I will be sending out the notification shortly. And then, so again, they want to review the design concepts in detail. However, in accordance with the board's Meetings Act and to avoid any potential violation, I just kindly ask that we can only have 2 board members. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but if not, then that,
They take turns.
Rock, paper, scissors, here we go.
Could it be are they allowed to be there virtually? Like, could we set up a camera and have them at home? No?
no, because what happens is that,
Three's a quorum.
yeah, it's a 3 is a quorum. So, I mean, if you guys are okay,
I don't
then,
think for the other meetings we've ever had that.
You had
Usually-
like once or twice, I think.
Yeah, but that one wasn't it scheduled? Like it was, because it had, I don't know.
They don't present designs at board meetings? Or they will once?
they will once they, yes, they will. But, so what we do is we have a committee, probably, what, maybe 15,
Yeah.
and you'll be on it too. And,
I won't even be here Wednesday, so. I just,
So you
I
would
just
want-
have to.
So don't tell Dusty and we're good.
I won't even be here, I'll be out of town, so that's fine.
And the rest of you 3 can come.
If you haven't came to any other meeting, you don't get to come.
I've been to one,
Eliminated.
Eliminated.
yeah, that's fine.
I think, Chris, you came to one, Jennifer, you've been here a couple of them, Dusty and, Destry, and, Mr. Gray, they've been here to mostly all of them. So, I mean, let me know if you have any concerns on this, but I think, once we have 3 people, then it's a quorum.
We saw a presentation at the school law about that.
Mhm.
They did a skit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be presented in front of the board anyway.
Can we record
They
it?
will.
Yeah.
We can record it, can't we? And then they can review it.
Or you can just show me the designs later. Yeah.
I'll take pictures. I'll snap
Oh,
it.
they just present design.
No decision, they're just presenting 3 different designs.
It has to come before the board.
Yes.
Oh,
No, that's,
And then if they send me the presentation, then I can email it to you guys and I'll do a problem.
I'll just snap you my favorite one that way. Where's this one at?
Just do it from different angles so it looks like it's different models.
just make sure the camera's facing the right way.
Yeah, me so.
That's what it is. It's kind of,
No, that's fine.
how you don't count, every time how you don't count, I'm like, you don't know what it is.
Are you guys okay with that then? All right, then the next, this one I should put it as an agenda item, but I didn't. And basically, so I don't know if you guys recall, we had Laura Castillo do a presentation for us here, and then she did mention that she is actually leaving Cuddy and McCarthy, so she already did. So basically, I received an official letter from the law firm Cuddy and McCarthy, informing us that Laura is actually leaving, but they sent it to me like May 28th, and then they want us to make a decision by the 30th, but I mean, it was just, we have to have a board meeting on this, and I didn't do it. But anyways, basically what they want to do is, this is a formal notification requiring the, by the ethics rules, and we have the opportunity to decide if we want to proceed with Laura representing us, and then, or continue working with Cuddy and McCarthy. I did talk to one of the lawyers. Now, Cuddy and McCarthy, they also do our bonds, so they represent us legally, but then they also, help us out with the bonds, and we can continue doing that if you guys decide to go with Laura, or we can just continue staying with the firm.
Yeah, I think we need to revisit that just because they're losing her and they're losing Patricia, which is the other lawyer.
Yes.
So there's not gonna be much school affiliation type stuff there anymore.
All of their attorneys are actually, I mean, they are familiar. But again, we have to continue, for bond purposes, we need to continue with, being with them, with Cuddy and McCarthy. And I was talking to one of the lawyers and he says, if you guys want Laura to represent, us, not a problem, but they would still have to continue representing us for the bond.
Because we have a contract with them for the bond, is that why?
Well, I don't think Laura does that. So Laura will only do like legal.
We don't go with Lori though.
We don't have to go with Laura either.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that she knows our cases and, but I can put it on the agenda for next month and then,
But should we vet like Zamora, Ortiz, or whatever all they are next to? If we're gonna pick one, we need to pick one, not,
or we can just decide to stay with Cuddy and McCarthy. It's up to you guys.
It's the other one. It's Zamora.
Is it Zamora?
Gallegos.
Gallegos.
Zamora's
Walsh.
Walsh. Elena.
You learn on the road. They're billboards are everywhere.
Get the gorilla.
Get the JG Miller. Yeah, no, I'd like to visit that. I mean, I know Laura knows us and we know her and
So we can discuss this, next month and see and I'll put it on the agenda. Okay. And that's all I have for today. Stand for questions.
I have a question about the P cards. Do you ever get any?
So we actually have a meeting tomorrow with Clint Taylor.
Yep. I know him.
You know him?
Mhm.
And we have a meeting tomorrow at 9:30. Jolene, myself, and Raquel will be going to Artesia, and he will be helping us with that as well as some other things that we need. So it's a step closer.
What about the track?
So, just today, I got a notification. So basically, when we had to submit that to get it approved by the bond. And I got a notification that it was approved. So Raquel is working on the requisition. I already told A-Rod as soon as he gets the purchase order. That's what we're waiting for, just the purchase order.
Once we get
and
the
then
purchase order, I'll
hopefully-
send it to the rep and he'll get it to whatever company BSN contracts out to for that. And then he'll put it either wherever it needs to be and we'll figure out, he said he doesn't know what the timeline looks like until he can get the PO and talk to them. So hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have an idea if we can squeeze it in this summer or after football, or if we have to wait till next summer.
what's their usual start to finish time?
He said about 6 weeks.
We've got some time, but you don't want to.
It's
You don't want.
I think we're cutting it
It's
kind of,
it's
you know,
really
we're-
close, and that's assuming there's no issues or.
As long as they're not like working on your football game, you could probably still have a football game.
Well, because they're moving actually
Yeah, they're gonna have to move the
they're
uprights.
adjusting.
Well, they can do that first, just with that. Start. I mean,
I got an auger and some sack gravy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say
We need to make it work. I mean, I'll just tell Coach Giles go for two every time.
You got an auger too.
Problem
so
solved.
Bring them both if you're not gonna have three.
You just gotta move one of the goalposts.
yeah,
Both of them.
Both of them?
the field's
Yeah,
got
the
moved.
field's
because
We're
adjusting.
shifting everything over because of those D rings on each side.
I thought it was just one. It's both ends.
Both, yeah.
Any movement on like sprinklers and all that other stuff?
No, I haven't received another quote. But it will be done.
I could do it.
Okay.
Ag shop stuff. You money for that too? What's that?
We got a quote from, are you talking
Well, not
about
Ag
shop,
farm.
ag farm.
over at the,
Is that
No,
the
we
Mono property?
so we can't do anything on that one until those funds are, I think it's July the 1st, when those funds will be available.
Okay. Make a motion to adjourn.
Green.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What is it?
8:00.
It was going to be serious, but we're gonna leave early.